My name is Toni Hall for GALvanize, and joining me today is none other than actor and comedian Johnathan Fernandez. But that is his due. We are here to talk about his who. Johnathan, such a pleasure to have you on today.
Yeah, no, thank you so much. This is, all in the name of, right? This is great.
Oh, yes. Thank you once again.
Yeah.
So I'm going to start with something we talk about a lot at GALvanize, confidence and how to build it up. And I know you were born in Brooklyn, New York. So growing up in Brooklyn, where there's so many creators and creatives, was there ever a moment in time where you questioned if you should pursue your dreams at all?
No, to be honest, it never really occurred to me not to pursue my dream. Being a first generation American, I was already looking at the world in a way that kind of had to just justify my parents' immigration. And that sounds a little bit heavy, but because obviously the question of what you owe your parents and all that stuff is
Right.
interesting, and the answer could be all or nothing depending on who you are and what your background is and your experience. But for me, it was always something in the back of my brain of just like, look at what my parents did, and the whole reason they did it was so that I could have all the opportunity in the world. And so that's why they moved to this country, left Colombia and Honduras. And so for me, it was just one of those things where I'm like, I always had them as, major advocates for me and what I wanted to achieve. And my parents, especially my father, who's an electrician, a retired electrician, he, from very early on, was like, I don't want you to do what I do. Go do what you want to. And that was just always the baseline. Just kind of feel like the moment you leave your door or your apartment, house, whatever, you hit the pavement and immediately just feel the pulse of the city is just like, go achieve something. Like, that's why we're all here, because New York is not the easiest place to live. So like, if you're going to be there, make it worthwhile.
I can tell you are just radiant with so much confidence. How do you keep that confidence blooming while in a business that is constantly judging you?
This business for sure is testing your confidence left, right, and center, 24/7, all the time. And even when you are confident and when that's something that you don't really have to think of, luckily, because it's like instilling confidence is a very challenging thing to do, especially to for me personally. It's kind of all I have. Like, if I didn't have that, I would be a Looney Tune. I would be nuts. Like, for me, it's always about recalibrating. And for me, I'm like, if you have a job as an actor, awesome. But guess what? You don't have a job 98% of the time. Like, your job is to audition. Like, you're almost exclusively auditioning. And then if you have a gig, amazing. And like, I hope it lasts forever, the film or the TV show, whatever. But that's not realistic. And so you have to take your wins where you can, which is not whether you booked a job or not, but whether you think you excelled at that audition or you didn't.
In your career and in your life, there's been so many changes. Has there ever been a constant that's never changed throughout your journey?
My constant has always been knowing that if you quit, you won't get it. If you quit, 100% you won't get it. Exactly. And that constant is not going anywhere. That's just facts, right? You always have to recalibrate what your wins are, because especially with my business, like, a lot of people will be like, I want to be famous. And it's like, well, you're probably not going to be, just because statistically you probably won't be. But is fame the thing that dictates whether you're successful or not? It's not, and so like, you need to kind of check that out and see what you're actually trying to do. Because if you're trying to be a famous actor by a certain age, then that's probably not going to happen. But if you want to be working all the time, then you need to kind of look at it from that different lens. So you'd be like, well, I'm successful because I'm working all the time. I don't have to worry or I don't have to put all my eggs in one basket and just try to achieve this thing that may or may not happen.
Wow, that was knowledge. that was knowledge. My next question has to do with what's going on or in this current age and currently in this country. We're seeing so much change going on right now with the injustice and the Black Lives Matter movement. And I see you've been writing a anti-racist starter kit. You said it's a place to ask yourself what to stand for and a tool for some tough questions. What is the toughest questions you think allies should be asking themselves right now?
Do I stand on the side of white people, or do I stand on the side of all people? And so that's something where right away people want to look at it as this polarizing, insulting thing. It's just like, why do I have to choose? And it's like, you don't have to choose. And that's the whole point. Like, if you're particularly choosing yourself and your self-interest just because of what you look like and what your people look like in your social circles and all that stuff, then that means inherently you're not a humanitarian. You don't care about everybody. Once people start asking themselves that question or some similar question, like, what do I stand for and all that stuff, like, a lot of people, it tears them apart because they've never had to think about things in that way. Whereas like people who look like you and I are constantly seeing things in a different way, where just like your lens has to be different, or has to be different just so you can survive.
Wow. Thank you. That was so raw. That was so raw. And I can't even believe I'm even asking this in 2020. But have you and your wife, Lauren, have you guys ever experienced hatred as an interracial couple?
We haven't really had situations that are like overtly racially motivated against us. But it's kind of funny because like I'm generally a pretty loud looking person. I'm always wearing something pretty loud, like, loud hair, loud colors, loud everything. And then my wife, I'm 5'11" and she's 4'11". So like there's a huge height gap. She's like much more like effervescent than I am. And so just when you see us together, I think we automatically look pretty incongruous. Just like physically, we just look pretty different. And so there's a lot of times that like when friends are walking with us, they will comment on how many people look at us and, turning heads and stuff like that. And for me, I was always like, yeah, but is it because of what we look like, or is it because of what we look like? Where it's like, is it because of our like racial situation, or is it because like they're like, look at this tall guy with an afro and crazy glasses and crazy suit with this like young cute woman who's like much shorter than him. Like they just look juxtapositionally, they look kind of funny. And so I don't know. It's always a thing that like I think about where
I want to say congratulations on celebrating 7 years of marriage.
Yeah. Congratulations. 7 years, and we've been together for 17 total.
Oh wow! Oh my gosh! Congratulations!
Yeah, thanks. Since it's I was a sophomore in college and she was a freshman. It's been a long time.
Wow. Okay, going into my last question. If you could title your life at this very moment, what would be the name of your life movie?
Currently writing a memoir about like my experiences as a first generation American and my brother and like my parents as Latino immigrants, and a title I've just kind of been talking about is like, I'm immigrant and so are you. And it's like that kind of thing, because like none of us are from anywhere and all of us are from everywhere. So like the whole concept of nationalism is even kind of hilarious. But yeah, something like that, I guess.
Well, Johnathan Fernandez, I was already a huge fan of your dude. I am a bigger fan of your hoop. Thank you so much for joining me today. Thank you so much from the bottom.
Honor and privilege, and these are good questions. I like questions that make me like have to think and like dig deep and try to give you like a well thought out answer. Thank you. Honor and privilege.
Thank you. Thank you for being vulnerable. Thank you. Well, Mr. Fernandez, once again, thank you so much for this time. I've enjoyed every single second.
Yeah, no, thank you, Toni. This is really awesome. And like I said, it's an honor, a privilege, and I love talking about this stuff because it's what it's all about.
Right. Thank you so much. Tell the family hi, and y'all be safe, okay?
Yeah, thanks. You too.
Thank you.
All right, bye then.
Bye-bye.